Okay, kids, first of all, I have my I saw the red truck t-shirt on. It's out there today. But, oh, and then I have the red book. I did that fast on purpose. This is actually the Yogi Berra book. And it says, I really didn't say everything I said. Because he was full of all these quotes. And I'm such a speed reader that I was able to read this all today. Oh, wait. It has really big letters. So I guess that's why I'm so fast in being able to read it. So, wait, I don't have the sun in my eyes, so do the baseball player thing, more of the catcher thing, because, Yogi Berra was a catcher, so, alright, except his hair wasn't as long. So, 90% of this game is half mental. So, just think of this as a bedtime story. I'm going to go through this book here, and I'm not going to tell you every little bit of thing, every little thing that I see, because there's a lot of them that have little stories behind them. But here's one. You can't think and hit it at the same time. His coach at the time told him to think before he hit the ball, and then he started missing more. So he stopped thinking, he just started swinging. This one's a good one. Nobody ever goes there anymore, it's too crowded. Well, the backstory behind that is after the games, they would go to certain places just to hang out with each other, all the ball players, and once all the fans started catching on to oh, after the game, let's go to this place, and it's actually called Ruggieri's Restaurant in St. Louis. But anyway, so they stopped going there. But again, ever since it got crowded, nobody started going there anymore. Oh, here's an old one. A nickel ain't worth a dime. Alright, I'll pass on that one. He comes home early from a game one day because it got rained out, and he says to his wife, "Where have you been?" And she says, "I took Tim to see Dr. Zhivago." And Yogi responds, "What the hell's wrong with him now?" I guess he didn't know Dr. Zhivago, was an opera. And so let's see. It's Deja Vu all over again. We all know about that one. Oh, this one's great. I never heard this one. We made too many wrong mistakes. It was about how they lost the series. Oh, here's one that's I never heard either. Slump? I ain't in no slump. I just ain't hitting. He didn't care that he was not hitting that day, so he didn't really care. And he was one of the best. Not that I'm a big baseball aficionado, but he was one of the best hitters for being a catcher. Oh, this is so very true. It was hard to have a conversation with anyone. There were too many people talking. And this actually occurred at a White House dinner with the invitation of President Ford. Yeah, we all know this one. When you get to the fork in the road, take it. What this book doesn't explain is that where he lived, from the stories that I read, is you go down a dirt road to his house, and then you are going to see a fork in the road. Helps if you're driving a red truck, four-wheel drive. No, so you're going to get to a fork in the road. And normally you have to say, do I go left? Do I go right? In his case, it didn't matter which fork you took because they both ended up at his house. So from my understanding, that's where that story came from. Oh, this is a brilliant one. We're lost, but we're making good time. You know, that one is just brilliant. All right, here's one. There's a picture of him and his wife. But anyway, he says, a reporter once asked me, what would you do if you found $1 million? And then he says, I'd see if I could find the guy that lost it, and if he was poor, I would give it back. I mean, that's kind of amazing, you know. I mean, like, you know, poor guy lost $1 million, so he's kind of amazing. And here's some silly ones. If I didn't wake up, I'd still be sleeping. And I usually take a 2-hour nap from 1 to 4. Oh, now this one is brilliant. If you can't imitate him, don't copy him. Like playing guitar, it's like, you know, sure, I've done Ted Nugent solos, Jimmy Page solos, Black Sabbath solos, and all that, but if you can't do them, you don't bother. I mean, you really just might as well do your own thing. And it gets late early out there. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about on that one. It could be a seasonal thing, but you know, when you go to small towns, they roll up the sidewalks, so you better grab your beers quick. Of course, 90% of the game is half mental. Oh, this is a good one, because, you know, as we start progressing in age, and as you know, I'm turning into a curmudgeon, and 53, you start thinking about mortality, and this is a good one. Always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't go to yours. So just remember that. You better just, you know, because you never know. Zombies might come around. And anyway, but yeah, you want people to go to your funerals. All right. All right, this is a stupid one. I won't even bother holding the book up because the print is like. when asked if I wanted pizza cut into 4 or 8 slices, I replied 4. I don't think I can eat 8. Which reminds me of a long story. Well, not a long story. But in Germany, pizzas are like this big, and then the largest are like that big. And one day, Jörg, he's visiting America here, and he goes into a pizza place and orders pizza, and anyway, the guy asks him, well, what size do you want? And he looks at the menu and he says, large, or like extra large. I'm pretty hungry. Well, now Jörg, first of all, he's kind of taller, definitely taller than me, and he's kind of a stout guy, not like fat, but just a stout German stout. That, and anyway, the guy behind the counter, he orders him the extra large pizza, and he's like, the guy behind the counter is wondering, like, oh my God, I know this guy's kind of big, but he's gonna eat the whole thing, because he said he was really hungry. Well, anyway, when the pizza got done, Jörg looks at it and goes like, oh my God, he didn't know that in America extra large pizzas were like 16 inches. In Germany, they usually only make personal pizzas, and they do make them slightly bigger. But anyway, so that's really funny with Yogi saying, 4 slices of pizza. I don't think I could eat 8. All right, let's see. I'm getting close. Here's a silly one. Pair up in threes. There was a couple of, there was 3 guys that he wanted them to do an exercise together, and he's like, pair up in threes. And it made sense to them at the time. All right, this is a good one. Never answer an anonymous letter. I mean, first of all, how are you really going to know who to answer to? So, and again, the other famous one, you can learn a lot, you can observe a lot by watching. Because what that was about was when he was a manager, it's in the book right here, and he would get annoyed that his players weren't paying attention to the other players on the field when they were in the dugout. So, and he's right though, because you really can learn a lot just by watching. All right, here's one when he's giving directions. He was great at giving directions. When you come to the fork in the road, take it. All right, this one is, it's not too far. It just seems like it is. Another one, you've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. All right, let me see. Here's another one where he could have mistaken the word blinds as in blind person. So he said, my son Larry called out, Dad, the guy is here for the Venetian blinds. And I told him, look at my pants pocket and give him $5. So let's see. I know there's 1 or 2 more good ones. Oh, this one's a good one. Little League Baseball is a good thing because it keeps parents off the streets and the kids out of the house. And another classic, the future ain't what it used to be. it ain't over till it's over. Well, darn it. I guess it is over. Oh, and then they have a picture of his family. I'll never get this reverse thing right. And then they have quotes. And his wife said one that she made up. I need to go shopping for clothes to shop in. His son said, you can't lose if you win. I guess maybe it's his daughter, Betsy. I mean, it says Betsy, but I don't know who she is. Sometimes you have to get lost to find yourself. Carla says, I'm so hungry right now I can't even look at food. Shut up and talk is another one. How can I find it if it's lost? I don't remember leaving, so I guess we didn't go. And this is a good one to end on. Some Maria and his family. I double checked it 6 times. But anyway, so my client was gracious enough. And did you hear that ka-ching? Somebody just bought something of mine on eBay or something. But anyway, the client, this is a weird story, is the other day I was actually thinking of the client who actually has a baseball signed by Babe Ruth. Or, well, yes, I'm not being dyslexic on that one. Babe Ruth and Yogi Berra and a couple of other people on one ball. And I was thinking of him, and then all of a sudden his computer, which is over there to my left, dyslexia with the video camera, that's my left. And so I'm working on this computer, and so I'm thinking of the client, and he ends up calling me, and he drops his computer off. But before he dropped his computer off, we were chatting, and then I was saying, wow, that's weird. I was thinking of you and your Yogi Berra ball, and we're just going over some of the quotes, like, 90% of this game is half mental, and then on Facebook it was weird because I was talking about Yogi Berra quotes, and this all just kind of was like. And so anyway, when my client brings over his computer, he brings me this book. He didn't give it to me, but he just said, you can read it, but just give it back to me when you're done with my computer. And then I was thinking, okay, well, shall I go through and photocopy every page and all that? And it's like, nah, that's copyright infringement. So I don't think what I'm doing, this is like a bedtime story, and like Fox News Channel will say, or actually Fox they actually did something good. They were reporting about how this British psychologist or psychiatrist was saying that reading bedtime stories to children is a bad thing, because then it gives the children unfair advantages over other children. So, I mean, lots of crazy people out there. And it was actually kind of interesting that Fox actually, and I think it was that Megan Kelly, is it? I don't remember. But she actually seemed like a legitimate reporter for one time to me. Well, once in a while she does, but most of the time she's just like, woohoo. Anyway, so 90% of the time she's half mental. No, well, that's true, but no, this book is pretty cool. I mean, nice and big words, you know, like for all the adult children out there. So if I had to read this book, I would do it all over again. On that note, I'm out.